one's recording. If you could just maybe say a couple of words so that I can know that it's actually getting in.
Okay, I'm glad to be here today with you, Mr. Court. Pretty much, here to share a little information, to give a little insight on, basically the things that's going on within probation and parole. The things I want to share here today is, things basically that I want, things to be better, within probation and parole and also monitoring. Things that's been going on for years, as far as probation, parole, and monitoring, it's basically stereotyping, and it's making us as individuals feel like we're locked in boxes, even though we have been incarcerated. That's one source of, punishment. And, we're being released and we're also being monitored and also all kind of other, proper channels that they consider putting us through. And at times it's inconveniencing us, because we have kids, we have jobs, we have a lot of things that, life situations. We are individual people. So some of these things, it works for some individuals, some it do not, and as me, myself, like I said, I'm 27 years of age. I'm a full-time carpenter, and by me being on probation, it's required me to not leave the state, or it's restricted me from certain things that I cannot do. I am an individual, I'm not a, kind of animal locked in a cage or anything, so it's just, they're just restricting us as individuals, from things that, they consider, oh, you shouldn't, do this, or oh, you shouldn't do that. We're grown, Just because we made one mistake, it doesn't mean that we're going to go right back out in the public and, do the same. Some people, yeah, but, it's stereotyping us, as I feel myself. And, we're going out and, it's one thing to be incarcerated. We're falling behind from the everyday things out in the world, not being able to see our families, or not being able to go out and provide with a job, or not being able to go and just actually, intervene with the everyday life. That's a hard feeling to stomach, for just being away from our family, our kids, our wives, jobs. It's a hard feeling to stomach. But us as men, some people, they suck it up and look at the bigger picture of, hey, I might have did some things that was wrong, and this is me paying my debt to society. And some individuals, they just, hey, yeah, I'm here for the love, I'm here for the fun and the games, and and it's inconveniencing us in a way, because it's taken away. We can't get the time back. But me as myself as an individual, I feel we can't get the time back, but we can make up for it. So we go out and as a monitor, the leg monitor for people who, I've done it before, but for people who have been released from the system and have to be monitored by a monitor or an ankle monitor or whatever the case may be, it's restricting us. They're telling us, hey, you have a curfew and, certain things, you have to be in a house, just restricting us from the everyday life. And like I said, we are individual. We are individual people. And, some people, not being locked in the house, I want to go out and enjoy fresh air and the amenities of life, and it's just hard for us, at times because we're trying to do the right thing and we're restricted, and the moment we step, a foot out of boundaries is, things, right back, you violation or, hey, you've done this. It may not have been anything too important. We're just, some things, sometimes we have to take an extra step in order to better the things in our life. And it may not look to them as to them it may look like, oh, they're, doing something wrong. But, to us, we're just taking that extra step, to better the things that's going on within our lives. And like I said, with the monitor, some people by being arrested, it's causing us to fall behind on jobs. Our current job, whatever the case may be, where we're going out to provide for our families. And it's making us fall behind. Sometimes we lose jobs, a lot of things that we lose, by being incarcerated. And some individuals, they're getting out trying to get their life back on track. But here I am on an ankle monitor that's, monitoring, not saying it's not doing what it's supposed to do, but it's, maybe we go out in society and we're walking down the road, or we're just in society and people are looking, hey, grabbing hold to things and tightening up, stiffening their attitudes, and and it may not even be, the individual. It's just the stereotype of them seeing that, oh, he has a monitor, he's being monitored. Some people don't like the fact of, people being in, get him away from around me, he's been monitored, or stereotyping he's a criminal, he has a monitor, or, things like that. And, it's hindering us in ways as if we're going out and getting jobs and people are looking as if we don't want them in this source of business and in our business because it's going to run the business away. Them seeing, him being monitored, or he's in the system. You know what I'm saying? So it's hindering. And then I want to also speak for the probation, and, probation, I'm currently, doing some things with probation, you know what I'm saying? And as I said, it's not every individual probation, office or officer. It's just certain individuals, that has, I feel like situations could be handled, a little bit better. Because like I said, we are individual people. We do have lives to live, kids to take care of, and a lot of, things that we have going in life as people. And, sometimes, they're requiring us to go out and, do community service and, also pay and work, have a job, take care of our kids. That's a lot of things that, that we have to acquire and take care of for being oneself. It's a lot of things that we have to do as far as, I feel like, if probation see oneself has a job, then there should be a way that you could combine this job with community. We are serving the community, community service. So I don't see why we can't combine this in order to knock out, knock out some community service and, also being, job providing. Like I said, we are working a job, so whatever the case may be, we are serving the community in a way. So kill two birds with one stone. Hey, we see this young man is working, he's serving the community. Hey, let's go ahead and click in here and, give him some hours for this community service. And it will be a lot easier for us, as as we go through life trying to fix our wrongs, and I want to piggyback on, us being, taken away from our family. It's hurting us, but it's hurting our family the most. So as we go through these trials and tribulations, it's hurting our kids, and it's taking away from our families. The sole provider, the male figure or the female figure. I'm speaking for both, and it's taking away from us. Not saying, I've always been the type of person to, if you do some things that's wrong, you pay your debts to society, and that's the bottom line, But as far as, the consequences, it's like, it's been drilled, the consequences is, you wrong, then you get treated like an animal. Sometimes, some people, they get the tap on the wrist, but some people don't, and it sometimes it disables you at a time, because this is a mental thing, it's also messing with our mental state. And, by us being incarcerated, not being able to see, just the outside, not being able to go, being woke up and being told what to do, when and how, it's caused a effect on our mental state, just being, locked in a room for 23 hours a day, or, and it just hinders us in a lot of ways, and like I said, I'm the type of person to, I've always been to, you have to pay your debts to society, one way or another. But, the consequences can be a little lightened up for individuals out in the world, and, it's not every, consequence. It's not everything that's initially put towards the individual when you're, getting in trouble. It's just certain consequences. It's like double jeopardy, and it's hard. And I just feel like some of the system could, look at us as individuals. We do have lives, where it's just a mistake we made, and, not just do us as if we are animals, lock us away, monitor them, go out to your house and, have neighbors like, oh my God, look at that, police all around the house, every first or second of the month, I don't want that around me. Maybe let's put a complaint. Let's get them out of here.
So you've actually touched on a lot of the questions I was going to ask, but I might kind of go back and ask some, or ask them in a certain way, just so that, because if I go back and edit, I want to make sure I'm kind of like, it might fit in a way that works, this, a particular way. But so you have kids and you're married. Can you talk about that? Like, so one of the things what I told people was, if I ask a question, it might be like, if I say like, how has this impacted your family life? You would say, this has impacted my family life by. So you're like kind of repeating my question in the start of your answer. But yeah, so you could like talk about your family.
Yes, my family, like I said, I'm 27 years of age, full-time carpenter, I have 3 beautiful daughters, and being incarcerated, it has impacted my family by, just me not being there, the time, the bills, me just being there, for my kids, teaching them, helping them with the homework, helping raise them, and my daughter sometime, I have to, it just, like, it's kind of hard, because by me being incarcerated, it's taken away from them as it's been me being present, and when you're away, it's like the saying, out of sight, out of mind, and like I said, my kids, they know me, but for sometimes people, they're being incarcerated for so long, the kids think they forget about you, and that's a hard feeling to stomach when you've been incarcerated and your kids are looking for daddy or mommy, to be there and you're not there, and their kids, it affect the kids mentally, anger, of the parent not being there, and it's not purposely, it just, we made mistakes, and it just causes our kids to be angry inside, and that's a hard feeling to stomach, so we have to go back and try to fix things with our kids and, try and gain that trust back, with being away, my oldest daughter, Dad, she's, hey, I love you so much, but where have you been? And I have to, feather up the energy to let her know everything that has went on within me and the situation that I have been through.
Can you talk a little, or actually, when you were looking for work, how did all of this process impact that, finding a job or keeping a job?
When I got released, by me being incarcerated, it impacted me by when I went out to try and find a job. I mean, I had transportation, but like I said, I fell behind, car note, fell behind, and my car got repossessed. So I had to start all over again, riding MARTA, and then at the same time, I'm going out, I'm trying to do day-to-day jobs to, get transportation around. So I didn't have any transportation, and then riding MARTA, you might go and your hopes are up, but you want to let the employer know, you go to filling out your application and you get to this question, have you ever been convicted of a crime or have you ever been arrested? And, you're sitting there like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't, hinder me from getting this job, and then you finish up the application and you have some employers that come back to you, well, Mr. Brooks, unfortunately, we can't hire you due to the fact that you've been incarcerated or you've been, arrested for this and that, and that just, your heart, it just breaks your heart. You put up so much energy, you have so much hope, you're going out trying to provide, and you're up here I'm going to do this. My hope, my energy, my ambition level, sometimes that put us down, it puts us down at a lowest point in life, going out trying and just get knocked right off, cut short, bam, that's that quick, and it takes away, and, just by certain individuals, they can't handle that, they just give up, forget about it. I'm tired, I'm going out and I'm trying and, I'm getting cut short here, I'm getting cut short there, and that's a hard feeling to stomach, with you going out and you're trying, and by you having this so-called record, it's hindering us from going out in public to, try and provide for ourselves as far as getting a job and getting ourselves back on track. So in ways I feel like the system, there could be a way to, erase some of these things, without having to wait a certain period of time. If you see that I'm going out, I'm trying, and you see my progress, you see where I'm going with this situation. They have sources that will help, but it's on their time. They're not gonna come and say, hey, you have to ask, for help. They're not gonna say, hey, we have these sources and we have those sources. You have to ask for these things. So I feel like it should be offered, to certain, every individual who has been through these things to be assigned to a certain person to help guide you, that's what probation, but probation is not there with you every day, like a mentor or something. They you go on report or whatever the case may be, they're not taking you out to find a job. You have to do these things on your own, and I feel like it should be a way for you to have some kind of person like a mentor assigned to you to, keep your track, keep you in the direction you need to be going, or, certain things, that you just can't do. I feel like, y'all took the time to lock me up and didn't care. I was sitting in there, but here yet I'm out now and I have to try to fend for myself when I've been taken away from, society. And, now I have to go out here, clueless of everything that's been going on. I don't know. I'm trying to adapt back to society, and I have to go clueless of things, trying to figure out, hey, which way do I go? So, yeah, I feel like there should be, some kind of mentor thing going on here,
They're giving babysitters, not mentors.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. And, and that will help a lot. They will see the difference within, with us going and, just being put out there, just to fend for ourselves. We're grown, we're individuals, but, being taken away, it takes away from us. Being incarcerated, it takes away from the life, we did have. Some people didn't. But me, myself, it has taken away from a lot of things that I had going on in my life. Job, Mr. Brooks call, hey, Mr. Brooks, where are you? Finance, my car, hey, Mr. Brooks, when are you going to make a car payment? Your car should be auctioned off at da-da-da-da amount of time. And, a lot of things, it just has caused me to be behind. But here yet, I'm trying. I'm not the type of person to give up. And I'm going to keep going until I make it to where I want to be.
Can you talk a little bit about the specific charges and sentence and kind of the timeline of everything?
Well, when I did get arrested, it was for a false imprisonment and financial credit card fraud. And you know, I went in under these charges, you know, with the assumption that, you know, hey, everything is going to be okay. You know, I have an attorney here telling me they're going to help me through this. You know, and you know, like I said, I was ready to, you know, take my hit on the wrist, and you know, if I had to do whatever, you know, I was ready. You know, I'm a responsible person. You know, and you know, I sat, you know, going to court, back and forth to court, you know, under these charges, going to court, you know, getting sent back, going to court, getting sent back, you know, just that process, you know, and I would speak calling to my public defender, you know, hey, Mr. Dada, when will I be appearing in court again? And, you know, they're telling me, hey, you'll be there tomorrow. Tomorrow come, I'm sitting there, you know, waiting for court, no court. You know, and, you know, finally everything died down. I got sentenced to do 1 year in prison. You know, and at that time I was, you know, I did county time. You know, I felt like that was enough. But here yet, I had to take a plea deal, you know, what they call it, a plea deal. You know, took a plea deal and, you know, hey, this is the best thing for you. You know, my attorney, this is the best thing for you. If not, you know, you're going to do a 10-year bid, or, you know, so I'm here like, oh my God, I don't want to do a 10-year bid, you know, but, you know, I have kids out here. I have, you know, things waiting on me. I have, you know, a lot of things, you know, so I'm trying to do the best option I can to be back to society, you know, and, you know, here yet I took a year sentence. And, you know, went down prison, and, you know, and that was a total different experience. You know, from the county jail, it's you know, and I learned, you know, with, you know, having to go down in the system and not county. I learned, you know, because that's a totally different system than county. State and county is totally different. You know, so me going through that process, it hardened me. It hardened me at a point, you know, to like, hey, you know, I have to have my guard up, because the world is cruel. You know, it took me through seeing different things, and you know, in the system, you know, it just makes you hardened to a point, you know. And, you know, sometimes people ask me, hey, man, you know, why are you so, you know what I'm saying? It just has caused me to be that way, you know. And like I said, it's a mental, it messes with your mental state at times, you know, by just going through this process of consequences that the system take you through.
Can you tell me about like your first day on, you know, after being released and probation, and kind of, you know, checking in and kind of just running through what that was like?
Well, when I did get released, I was required to go down within 24 hours and report to probation. So I was released at about 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, and, you know, I made a few calls and was calling around. You know, people are asleep at this time of night, you know, so I have to try to figure out something at this time of night, because, you know, people are sleeping. Kids are sleeping, getting ready for school in the morning, you know, people are asleep. You know, so here it is, me calling from being released. 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, waking people up. Hey, you know, is there any way you could try to help me out with going down to report, or now I need somewhere to stay because me being, incarcerated, lost everything I had, so need a place to stay, and, just checking in, that first day, you're like, hey, okay, I'm back. I was just happy to be out, so I hadn't even really got any sleep like that. I had to go back up to probation and, report in, when, they're telling you from the jump, this is what you got to do. I don't have any money, so they're telling you, hey, you have to pay this amount. You have to pay that amount. You have to do this. You have to do that, and they're on you. There's no leeway. They're on you. Where are you staying, and and, that, it just, some people, it just leads them to, like I said, they're not ready for all of that, and I feel like, it could be a little leniency within that point. You're seeing that I've just been released, or, why should I have to pay? I don't have a job, or some people may get out and, have a job or whatever the case may be, but I don't have any money. You require me to pay this or pay that. So I have to get out here and try to figure it out the best way I can, try and do side work, or some people, try and go and get a job real quick so you don't get violated, or, just that process, and then, you just have to adapt. And, it's enough that we've been taken away. Now we have to try and go out and fend for ourselves to try and get funds, to help probation. And then we have to try and make funds for ourselves and probation. So you have probation, self, wife, kids, and I'm fresh out of jail.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Camera just shut off. Filling. So, I think you were just saying it's a lot of pressure with wife and kids.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, that you have to try and feather up the energy to deal with. With you just getting out, now you have to do it all over again, and then this is also taking you away from the family. You have to try and go out, make memes, and yet my kids, I want to spend some time with my kids, but I really don't have the time. I have to try and go out, make money for this, make money for bills, or try and get myself back on track. And, they're not funding us. They're not saying, hey, let's give them a check for and, that may be some type of help towards him getting himself back together, and, like I said, it's just a lot of pressure, with, just having all of that on your shoulder and on your back, it's just a lot of pressure. And some people, they just can't deal with it. Some people, they're considering suicide and, a lot of things that they don't know. It's just a lot of pressure for oneself to be able to feather up the energy to deal with. And it's just a lot. It's just a lot, and some people, they're just not able.
Can you talk about the specific costs of different parts of things?
Well, it varies from restitution fees to court costs to, public affairs costs. Send public defender for, you have to pay for lawyer and, all of those types of things. And, this is putting you behind also. You're putting me at cost for restitution, court cost, and initially every day that you've sat in jail, is money that they made every single day. You know, you spend half of it, it's money. You know, they making money every day you sit in there. They're claiming they're making money off of you. And you know, it's like we're just, you know, once you get in there, you know, you're just in debt. Just in debt. You owe, and you know, it's just no kind of way that you can, you know, it's ways, but like for one individual to try to deal with all of these things at one point in time is just impossible. You have court costs, probation, just a lot of, you would have to have a lot of money, you know, and some people, they're not financially set to the point where they can just get out and handle everything at one point in time. They're not financially set that way, so have to go out and try the best way you can to meet these standards, and you know, try and abide by these rules, everything that everybody is setting. You know, you have to try and you know, abide by the rules. And you know, these costs, it's like it's a lot, you know, money wise, you know, it just, you know, like I think at one point in time I forget the cost of, but it was so, you know, it was added into the probation and everything, you know, so, you know, court costs and everything. It's just a lot, you know, it's just a lot of things that they put on you, you know, just for being, and it's, you know, some people, individuals, just mistakes we made, and here yet, this one little mistake has caused you, you know, so many, you know, things in your life to be inconvenienced. You know, family, a lot of things. It has caused you to just be inconvenienced.
So you've had an ankle monitor before. Can you kind of talk about what it was like to have that on for the first time?
Yeah. I had the monitor, and it was hard because, you know, they come out and they set it up at your house, and you know, and they're monitoring everything. You know, you go through the door, and you know, your ankle monitor, hey, you went outside your boundaries, or you know, it just you know, that process. And then, you know, you'd have to call in, you know, try to, if you have any kind of family event going on, or a job interview, or whatever the case may be, you just have to call to try and get verification of you know, you just letting them know, hey, I have to do this way, you know, you can't leave the house, you're on a monitor. You know, the moment you leave, your monitor is gonna go off, you know, but it feels like, you know, like you're just locked in a box, you know, and with this thing on your leg, and you know, you just come from being incarcerated. That's a feeling, you know, energy you can't fathom up, just being locked in, you know, and being told what to do every single day, you know, and it's just hard. And then you have to get out and, you know, deal with these same, you know, these same consequences. It's just hard, you know, for you to just, you have to just, you know, like pins and needles, you know, you're walking on ice, you know, and it's hard, you know, because you have to keep it, then you have to keep it charged, you know, the moment I might be sleeping, you know, it went off, you know, I forgot to put it on the charger, or, you know, hey, your ankle monitor, you know, the moment, you know, things talking to you, you know, whatever, you know, hey, your ankle monitor, you know, what's the problem? What's going on around there? You know, well, I apologize, you know, I just had overslept. I forgot to put it on the charger. Hey, you better do this, or you know, you're going right back. You know, and it just, you know, that process, man, it's hard. It's hard, man, you know. And you know, it's a process that I don't ever want to go through again. You know, as far as the monitoring, the anchor monitoring, you know. And then if you don't have a place, you know, you just have to sit in there. If you're required to wear that monitor, you have to have a place to stay. You know, some people, they just don't have the means. And you know, you just have to sit in there and just wait it out.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think I'm good. Do you have anything else you want to add, or are you?
Well, you know, I figured I've covered all corners, and I feel good about myself. But you know, as I said, you know, we're here, and these things need to be addressed properly.
All right. Well, thank you. Sorry that shut off partway through. Let's see. Yeah. Can I grab a picture of your ID as well?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.